Hi everyone, it's Kaylee. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a wedding related video since you guys seem to love these so much. You guys ask me on Instagram all the time when I'm going to be making another wedding video, and so I'm going to do that today. I figured a good place to start with the planning series that we're doing, because there's going to be multiple of these, would be with organization, because obviously I feel that organization is the first step in any kind of party or event planning process. I have talked extensively in my other videos about how I am a super type A person. I love being organized. I like to have lists and binders and plans and all kinds of things. It is definitely no different with my wedding planning. So today I'm going to show you guys all of the different ways that I have been getting organized for my wedding. So if you are interested, stay tuned. Your wedding day is easily one of the most important days of your life. It is one of the biggest parties that you're ever gonna throw for your family and friends, and so you obviously want it to go smoothly. And there are so many different ways that I've read about getting organized, but I thought I would share with you what has been working for me. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I did after we got engaged was I started looking at venues online and quickly realized that the best option for us was to start planning immediately. You might feel like you're jumping the gun, but guys, I promise you, time moves fast. I got engaged in March and it is already September and I cannot even believe it. We are under a year away from my wedding now. And so in total, I think we're planning 18 months, I think. Yeah, 18 or so months of planning before the wedding, which doesn't seem like a lot, but honestly, it's flying. So my first bit of advice is to definitely start as early as possible. Start right after you get engaged. At least start getting ideas down on paper so that you can begin whenever you're ready. I know some people are like, no, I want to enjoy my engagement, but if you want your wedding to be at a certain time frame, like within a year of getting engaged, I definitely suggest starting right away, unless you're having like a super tiny intimate wedding. In our case, we're having a small wedding. We're having roughly 85 people, which in the wedding world is small, but there's still a lot of planning that goes with it. So the first thing that I did after deciding to start planning right away was I went to my local bookstore and I picked up some wedding planning books. And this video is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be talking about a couple of different wedding planning sites, and I just want you guys to know that none of that is sponsored. I purchased everything myself. I am not being persuaded to talk about things in any kind of way. Totally just all my opinion. So this was the first thing that I bought, and this is the Not Complete Guide to Weddings. This book I didn't originally intend on buying. I went there for the binder, which I'm going to show you in a second, but this book kind of accompanies the binder. So if you're on the fence of if you want a book like this, I'll tell you flat out that this is not an interactive book. I'll open it up and show you. This is a chapter book, literally a chapter book. It is all words. There, I think, are a handful of photos. No, not even. Okay, yeah, this page has photos because it's about photography. That's it. It's a chapter book. There's a lot of words in here. So if you're not one to sit down and read something like this, I don't advise you get it. It is extremely detailed. There's a lot of information in here that you probably aren't gonna need, but they basically thought of everything. So this has been great for me to reference if I'm unsure of specifics of, you know, okay, what's a traditional place setting at a wedding? What's a traditional, like, what's the traditional procession of people coming down the aisle? That is all in here in great detail. So this could be a little bit of overkill for some people, but for me, I found it very helpful, especially if I can't find the answer to my question in the binder. And then obviously there's the internet. You don't necessarily need a book. I just thought it was cool to have. This retailed for $22 and I got it at Books A Million. They had an entire section of wedding planning books, so don't feel like this is the only option. There were multiple in the series By the Knot. This is By the Knot, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. They had a bunch of them, and then there were also other authors that did similar books. So again, I just bought the Knot one. And so that is the first thing that I've been using. The second thing that I've been using is this bad boy. And this is the Knot Planning Binder. It had a cover on it at one point or another, but I tore it off, and it just says Our Wedding underneath it. And I think it says that on the spine. Yeah, it says that on the spine as well. This thing is so cool. I think this thing was roughly $25. And if you're looking for something that's really interactive, this is your tool. So I will open it up. I have a lot of stuff in here. Hang on a sec. There's a lot of papers. I don't want them to all come flying out. I'm gonna take these out actually. Okay, so when you open it up, as you can see, I don't know if you guys can actually see, but on the side, there are tabs. So we've got timeline and budget, venue and menu, there's photos, there's a dress and accessories tab, there's flowers, there's ceremony, and there is the big day and beyond, so that at the end is talking more about honeymoons and the actual day of, like what you should be doing. So this thing is very cool because under each section there are actual worksheets in it. So each section starts out, there are photographs. God, this thing is huge. There are photographs, and then there's a kind of like a tips page here under every category, and so it'll say like the top 10 tips for that section. So this is just the getting started section. I will show you guys what I have found most helpful. So on this page, this is the guest list page. So basically you can put in a rough guest list. I've been using pencil in here, and you can just put all your people in and see roughly how many people are going to be on that list. You can obviously do this online, and I will show you guys later on that I do have my guest list online too, but this is where we started, was just penciling people in and brainstorming. On the opposite side, there's actually a flow chart to kind of help you decide if someone should be invited to your wedding based on your relationship with them. So that's really cool. That was super helpful for us. And then there's like another page of tips and things like that. I would say, oh, and then on wedding color page, they've got like swatches that you can mix and match and play with to decide your colors. I would say though, my favorite page is this one, and this is the planning timeline. This is so helpful. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys can actually see it. I'm gonna come up closer actually. So as you can see on here, maybe, is that in focus? I'm not wearing my glasses. I'm sorry if it's not, but there's basically a list of things by date. So this is like 12 plus months before. This is 9 to 11. On this side, we've got 6 to 8 months, 4 to 5 months, as you can see. And there's a list of things for that whole section of months that you should be thinking about doing. It's not a hard set timeline. Don't feel like you have to follow stuff like this to an absolute T. It just gives you an idea roughly of how long things take, because sometimes like you don't realize how far out you have to book something like an officiant. This timeline suggests 11 months before your wedding you should be hiring an officiant. So a little surprising, also helps me stay on track because I've obviously never planned a wedding before, so I don't know what I should be doing and when, and this tells me. And also you can fill in at the top the by section, so you can calculate, okay, what's 6 to 8 months before my wedding, and that would be February of 2020. So by February of 2020, I should be doing all of this in this column, if any of this makes sense. So that has been really helpful. And this book just goes on and on and on with its spreadsheets and worksheets and all kinds of stuff. So definitely worth checking this out if you're planning a wedding. Head over to your bookstore or even online and look at it. They had a bunch of different ones. It wasn't just the Knot. There was a bunch put out by other people as well. I found this one to be the most thorough. I agonized over this for like a good half an hour in the bookstore. And I'm really happy with it. And I think it's cool because it ends up being almost like a scrapbook that you can look back on. I've got pictures of dresses in here. I've got our color swatches. I've got ideas for catering and like business cards and things that are in here that I think will be really nice to look back on as like a nice memory. So that is my binder. The next thing that I want to talk about is our wedding website. And I didn't do our website through The Knot, I actually did it through Zola, and that is what I'm doing our registry through as well. I'm gonna put up on the screen right now a kind of quick sneak peek of our wedding site. You can actually build this through Zola. You can put in photos, you can put in all your information. It makes it really pretty. You can set a custom URL, so we have that to give to our guests on their save the dates and their invitations, and they can go on here and look at our registry all in one place. It's really, really convenient. The Knot does do something very similar, and I did actually build a website through The Knot first, but I wasn't 100% a fan of the layouts and templates they had. I just didn't feel any of them fit our wedding theme, and that bothered me, so I ended up going on Zola, and I really liked their styles a lot more. So I'm kind of using the Knot book and then the Zola website. It's a little bit backward, and obviously our wedding website is for our guest size only. It's not something that I'm publicly like putting out there. I don't want people knowing information that they don't need to know about my wedding, but it is a really nice tool to have. People can actually RSVP through the website. We are not going to be doing that. We're going to be having them mail back RSVPs, but it does have that feature. There are a lot of different things you can do. So I highly suggest if you are planning a wedding to have a wedding website. My Knot book actually suggested we have one because you can put so much information on there and you won't have people coming to you like 24/7 asking for details about your wedding. It's all just, you just send them to that website and then everything is right there. So next I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I have on my computer, like online for what I'm doing. There are a lot of spreadsheets and things, and so we're gonna cut over to that, and then after that I'm going to be showing you how I'm physically organizing things for my wedding, which will just be a quick thing. So let's get into it.
Hi guys, so this is me doing just a little voiceover so you can see my screen. And right now I am in my Google Drive. This is where I've been saving all of my online wedding stuff. And the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is my to-do list. So as you can see on the screen, I have this broken out into some sections, and this is actually a running list of things that I'm constantly changing, constantly adding to, and editing. It's nowhere near like concrete or anything like that. It just is kind of like whatever train of thought I have, it goes on here. So the top here is the to-dos, and I have highlighted what I've already done, and so you can see there's quite a bit here for us to do. This is not related to buying things. You will see in a minute that list, but this one is basically just items that we need to actually physically get done. So as you can see, for example, I've got finalize the guest list, get a quote from our bakery, get decor for the tables or price it out, choose bridesmaids dress options, just stuff like that. And as I think of things, I add to this. Then down below, we have the to hire and the done list. So the to hire are the vendors that we have not yet hired officially, and then the done are the vendors that we do have and that we're currently paying our deposits and our payments on. And so that's pretty straightforward. And then below that, I also just have a list of what we're going to need for flowers. And I just made this the other night. Again, it's just like a train of thought that I had to figure out like a running count of what I'm going to need to order online. And so that's this. So that is my to-do list. And now we're going to move into the wedding to buy list. This is the big one. This is the one I've been using the most lately. It has the most on it, and basically what I do is I've broken this out by category. So as you can see, we have clothing, ceremony, reception, gifts, and miscellaneous. So what we've been doing, or what I've been doing basically, is going through and adding things to both my Amazon and my Etsy cart, which I'm going to show in a minute. And if it's in the cart, it has a pink highlighted section after it. In cart means Amazon, in Etsy cart obviously means Etsy. And if it's highlighted blue, that means that I've already purchased the item. So at the top here, you'll see that there's not really a lot that I have purchased in the clothing category. A lot of this is not really something we're doing yet, like suits and dresses. That'll come later on as the wedding gets closer. But as I scroll down, you'll see I have quite a bit for the reception in carts or purchased, because these are kind of like the easy things to buy. And so that is like my running list of things. And I'm always adding to this as well. It's just a constantly like evolving list. And so now I'm gonna show you, so on Amazon, this is how I'm organizing it on Amazon. I have actually a private list that you can invite people to, you'll see here, by their Amazon account, and then they can actually see this list. But basically what this is it makes it so that you don't have all these things in your cart. They're actually just on a list, so you can add them to cart right from here, but you're not cluttering your cart when you don't necessarily want to buy things right away. So it's really good. I don't have to sit there and say save for later for everything when I'm trying to buy like one thing. I can just keep it all in this list and add it as we go. So you'll see I have quite a bit of things in here. Not all of this is 100% going to be bought. It's just kind of ideas and things I'm finding that will work for the wedding, and I will come in and buy things as we make more decisions down the road. So that is the Amazon cart. And then I also have a cart on Etsy, and this one you can actually check out by shop. So you can click on this button at the bottom of an item and you could just order that item, or you can do a checkout over here for everything in your cart. I'm not gonna go like show a bunch of stuff in here because there are gifts for my bridal party that I don't want people to see, because I know there are people that are watching that are in my bridal party and I don't want you seeing things. But so yeah, that is just kind of how I've been doing it. I've been throwing things in a cart or on my Amazon list, and I will order them as the time comes. Some of this, it's still a little bit too early for me to make like solid decisions on things, so I'm kind of just getting ideas. Now we're gonna go into the spreadsheets. So originally when I filmed this is the second time filming this, I was showing you guys my actual budget template with all of my numbers in here, and I realized it was gonna be way too hard to hide that personal information in post-production. So I've now decided to reshoot this with just the blank template. So this is what I use to budget for my wedding, and basically what you do is up here you would fill in your wedding budget and it will show you a running like total of everything. I'll show you. So each section here, we've got attire, we've got ceremony, reception, flowers, rehearsal dinner, miscellaneous, rings, photo and video, stationery, gifts and favors, honeymoon, bachelor and bachelorette party. This stuff all came in the template. If you guys are wondering, this is the bride side template, and on the screen right now I'm going to show you guys how I found this. It was super simple. It's only like the second or third link down on Google, and it was free to download, and it is a lifesaver. It is really good for showing you what's up, basically, like what's realistic, what you're gonna need. There are things on here that I would never thought of that we would need. And so it really keeps you in a realistic mindset of what things cost and what kind of money you need. You should already have figured out your budget prior to obviously like doing this, but it can definitely help ground you as to what you can afford and can't afford. So how this works is you have an estimated column and an actual column. So in the estimated column, you'll put in what you think you would spend on everything. You can obviously put 0 for things you're not planning on spending money on or purchasing, and it'll give the total estimated cost down here. And then as you buy things, you'll put in your actual amounts down here. Now where this is useful is once these totals are in here, they will then be calculated up at the top here. So you've got your estimated total expenses that will add up here, and then you've got your actual costs here. And it's basically as it adds, it will show you like your difference, what money you have left over, and you can really play around with the different categories and see where you can maybe leave out purchases or spend a little bit more. When I first got this, I put in all of our big purchases first, and then saw where we were at and then started to fill in other places, looking and seeing like, okay, how much realistically can we spend on flowers? How much can we spend on a tux, you know? So it really puts things into perspective. It's free, and I highly recommend this. Again, this is from Bride Side. Excellent, excellent template. Absolutely love it. So thank you, Bride Side. Again, not a sponsored video, but this has just been such a lifesaver. Up next is a spreadsheet that I created myself. You'll see that I blurred our personal info on this one. This is our payment tracker, and I just recently calculated all of this and made it like a couple weeks ago because we realized we needed to know how much money do we owe on our wedding and when are these payments due. So in this column we have the vendors, so venue, DJ, photography, honeymoon, officiant. Those are things that we have already kind of figured out. And we have a total cost column, so what we're paying for them is here. Then we have a column of what we've paid into them, and then a owed column. So basically it's total cost minus what's paid equals the owed column. And then at the bottom of this owed column, I have a running total, so a total sum of everything. So we know what we still have to pay. And then over here off to the side, I put in the due dates, which a couple of these are actually inaccurate, but put in some due dates there just to keep us on track for payments, because this is super duper important. You don't want to lose your vendors. You don't want to get behind on payments. So this has really helped us to visualize the big picture. The last thing I'm going to show you guys on here is my guest list. I put in a bunch of sample names here because, again, hiding all the personal info would be a lot. So I got this template online as well. I don't 100% remember where this one came from, and I don't think there's a brand on here, but these are all over the internet, guys. You can customize these however you want. You can make your own if you want. So basically at the top we have a dinner estimator. So we have the cost per person. We put in how much per head, how many people we've invited, how many have confirmed that they're coming, and it gives us a total cost of what we're gonna pay. This is obviously a demo. $240 would be lovely, but that is not what we're paying for our catering. But this is going to be helpful once we get RSVPs back, knowing what we will have to pay as a difference, because we have a set estimated cost, and then that will change depending on how many people don't RSVP to come to the wedding, if that makes any sense. But we're not really using this yet. But we are gonna use this guest list. So at the top, you'll see in bold, I have John Smith. He is like the primary person in the family. This is how I'm keeping track of how many invitations we're gonna have, because realistically, you're only gonna send one invitation to a family of 4. So in this case, John Smith is the bolded name. Pocahontas is his guest, or the other person in the family coming with him, and the count per invite is 2. So 2 people on this one invite. Next down, we have Prince Charming and Cinderella, again 2, and then I did Snow White and her 7 dwarfs, so that's another 8 people. And at the bottom of this column, we have a running count. So this is actually the count of guests, not the count of invitations. For me to do the invitations, I'm gonna have to kind of manually count them. So it'd be 1, 2, 3 invitations. Then there are columns, so we've got a phone number, email, street address, city, state, zip code. That's all for the actual writing of invitations. And then we've got an invited and an RSVP column. I don't know if I'm gonna use this invited column, but I definitely will use RSVP to determine who's coming, and then how many people they're actually going to bring. We won't use this seat column. We're not doing assigned seating, but if they have dietary restrictions, those will go in here. So it's very organized. Again, I'm not gonna use this just yet. I do have my list on a spreadsheet of my own, but I won't be using it until we send out our save the dates. So that is all I have to show you guys on my Google Drive for right now. So now we're gonna go back and I'm gonna show you a few more things about how I physically am organizing things for the wedding, as in the stuff. So let's get back to it. All right, guys, so this is my bin of wedding stuff. I'm not gonna go into huge detail of what's in here because I wanna do a haul. There's also some fall decor in here, so please ignore that. You guys will probably see some pumpkin stuff from Hobby Lobby. But basically what I'm doing is I'm going to fill this bin with everything that I've ordered. So that yellow envelope down there, that's my cake topper. There are some Walmart bags in here because I just went to Walmart this past week and got a few things, like small things. You'll see some like metal holders and things. And then there's some robes in there, which I'm actually sending back, but I'll be getting new ones, but that's where all of this stuff is going for right now. And once this is full, my mom has very kindly offered to allow us to store it at her house above her garage. And then we're probably gonna buy like a second bin and start filling that. So once the wedding gets closer, the plan is to go through all of it, separate it out into sections. So like all the ceremony stuff, all the reception stuff, and then it'll all be labeled and brought to the venue. I can't obviously show that right now because we are way too far away for that to happen, but this is just what I'm doing at the moment. I'm over here saying how organized I am. It is an absolute mess in this bin. But once some of my fall decor comes out, I'm gonna be kind of fixing it a little bit better. But yeah, so that is my current wedding bin and my plan to keep everything in one place.
Alright guys, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know down in the comments ways that you got organized for your wedding or are getting organized for your wedding. If you like this video and found the information helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you like my content, make sure you subscribe and click the little bell to know when I upload to YouTube. I have so many wedding videos planned, guys. I just haven't gotten the time to sit down and film them, unfortunately. But we are getting into a little bit of colder season here in New England. I have a lot more indoor time where I don't feel guilty for staying in on a beautiful sunny day. It's actually like that today. And I do plan to film a lot more content come like the fall and winter. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. To give you guys an idea of what I have planned, I've got some wedding hauls once I get enough stuff. I don't want to do a haul with only like a few things. I've got some wedding hauls. I've got some like cool wedding trends that we're doing for our wedding that I want to tell you guys about. I want to do a Q&A, so be on the lookout on my Instagram story for a kind of like Q&A setup there. I'm gonna have you guys send me some questions so that I can do that. It doesn't have to just be wedding related. It can certainly have wedding questions, but I do want to do a Q&A. I'm also planning on doing a weekend vlog sometime this fall when we have something interesting going on that you guys will be interested in watching. So yeah, there's a lot of content. It's just me finding time to film it all. But thank you guys if you have stuck around, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!